Okay, we're still on question 2 of the prelim. We're now going to look at part C of that question, which is for 4 marks as well. So they say calculate the length of EF. If EF is the turning point of the parabola. Okay, now that's important information that they gave us. EF also is a vertical line. Okay, so it lies perpendicular to the x-axis, and that is important because it shows us that it's a vertical height. For vertical heights, we need 2 y values that we can subtract from one another. Okay, so we do not know what the x value is of this point, but we do know that it's the turning point of the parabola. Now there's one of 2 ways to find that turning point. We have the equation of f of x. So to find the x value for the turning point, I simply apply my turning point formula that I learned in grade 11. So it's minus b, which is minus 1 over twice a, and twice a half is indeed 1. So that results in minus 1. Alternatively, for those of you that have done AP so far, you can say this happens where the derivative is naught, because there's a turning point there. If we derive that, we get twice a half times the x plus 1, which is naught. Okay, and by the same token, 2 times a half is 1, so my x value is minus 1. Okay, so if you wanted to use the derivative, some of you won't know what that means yet. We're going to do that this term. So the AP students, you've derived, and you can apply your derivative, because at the turning point the derivative is 0. Okay, so we've got the x value of the point. That point has an x value of negative 1. So now we go to our line to find the y coordinate of f. So the y coordinate of f will be minus the x value plus 3, and x is minus 1. A double negative is a positive, so the y coordinate for point F is indeed 4. The y coordinate for point E, we need to go to the parabola, and we say this is a half times the x squared plus the x value that we're looking at, minus 15 over 2. Now the x is minus 1 throughout here. If I square minus 1, I have a half times 1 minus 1 minus 15 over 2. Now you can see that this is minus a half. A half minus 1 is minus a half. Minus 15 over 2 is minus 16 over 2. Minus 16 over 2 is negative 8. Now be careful. Be very careful. Now you want the length of EF. EF's length is the y coordinate of f minus the y coordinate of E. Be careful. The y of f is 4 minus 8 again turns it into a positive, so you have a y value, or a length of 12 units. Now the next part, and this was one of my favorite questions, is where they ask you to find the area of triangle FEB. If I look at what I've just found here, I found that this distance there is 12. Now folks, I can use that as the base of my triangle. I also know that this is minus 1 and that is 3. So from here to the origin it's 1 unit, and from the origin to point B it's 3 units. So this complete distance there is 4. It is a vertical distance. Okay, so I don't need to do much more work here. I can say that my area of triangle FEB is half base times the perpendicular height. Now my base I found, my base is 12. My height for my triangle is indeed 4. So my area will be half of that is 6 times 4 is 24 units squared. It is as easy as that. That is why that question was only for 2 marks. And some of you guys wrote far too much. You started working out the angles between lines and totally went off the rails with a question. So make sure you analyze your diagram properly, folks, so that you don't have to do unnecessary stuff.